In this video, should you buy this DeWalt impact driver? Let's find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In a previous video, I mentioned I bought a cordless impact wrench to help with some of the engine disassembly tasks with both the Fox and the Rover. And the one I chose for the job was this DeWalt DCF880. Partly because it was the cheapest half-inch impact wrench I could find that looked like it was a fairly compact body, good for fitting into awkward places for removing exhaust manifolds and that type of stuff, which a bigger unit wouldn't be capable of doing. So was it any good? Well, in this video I'm going to show you it carrying out a couple of tasks whilst I was taking the Rover apart, dealing with some horrible exhaust manifold bolts, some rusty horrible bolts, exhaust downpipe bolts, the kind of stuff that normally if you try and do it by hand it'll just snap off, and the kind of stuff you'll need to soak in WD-40 for months and months to try and have any chance of moving it by hand. And also talk a little bit about the infamous crank pulley bolt on the K-series engine, which I'm sure any of you that have ever tackled the job before will know it's one of the tightest things known to man. Can this handle it? So let's get cracking and we'll have a look at some of those jobs. Let's see how it deals with these wheel bolts on this then. To be fair, I think I had that one off before, so I don't think it's suddenly so good it comes off immediately. I think that one's already been off. But that one certainly hasn't been touched. It made quite light work of that. I must say I've been quite impressed with this when I was working on the Fox. I see the real test for this on this car is going to be the crank pulley bolt, because they're quite famous for being quite difficult to remove, but certainly those wheel nuts, it made very light work of them. Pretty impressive. So another good test for this would be these horrible exhaust manifold bolts on this Rover. Getting it in position is probably the hardest bit, as it tends to be with a lot of impacts, because although it's quite small, there's not that much room in there, but I've managed to get it on this one here. It took that one out really easily. I thought I'd try it first before filming, but I've got it on that one, and I'm sure it'll make light work of it. Yeah. Take that off like it wasn't even on. I think that's where things like this really come into their own. I would more than likely have snapped that off trying to take it off by hand. You can even use one of these universal joints for the harder to get to stuff. Although I would strongly recommend using an impact rated one and not just a standard chrome one like this. But I don't have an impact rated one, so just look away from it while it's doing its thing and wear safety glasses. You can see how tight that is on there. It's loosened it, but I still can't undo it by hand. So as you saw then, it's a fairly capable unit. For its size, now it's not the smallest on the market, you will get smaller, but with it being a half-inch drive, I'm not sure you'll get much smaller than this. I'm guessing the brushless model, which is a good bit more expensive, almost twice the price, would be a little bit shorter on the body, which for certain jobs would definitely make a difference. But this one, definitely capable, managed to shift those exhaust manifold bolts, managed to get the downpipe off, and then on the crank pulley, it performed amazingly. I mean, it just zipped it right off. It took a little bit of time to get it going, but it zipped it right off, no problem at all. And it did everything I had to do on this car with it. On a single charge of this so-called 6 amp hour battery, certainly it didn't show any sign that the battery was getting low. And the battery, I think the battery's only showing 1 bar now. So to be fair, yeah, it took it out of it, but it's done well. And it was the same with the Fox. I managed to get it all done with one charge of the battery as well. So fairly impressive stuff. And I'm sure if you used a genuine DeWalt battery, it would be even better. But I can't complain at all. It was less than £100 for the tool only. One of the cheapest on the market. Now I know there are some fake Makita stuff out there that are really, really cheap, and that might well be the cheapest option out there. But I think a body-only genuine Makita of this kind of part of the range will be very similar money. I don't think you get much cheaper out there. Criticisms, it's always going to be the size. The smaller the better if you're doing engine work. This is great for, wheel bolts, the crank pulley, that kind of stuff where you don't have that much restriction in getting it in, but certainly anything a bit tighter. Some of these exhaust bolts you couldn't actually get this into. So size is obviously always going to be a concern, but I think the only way you're going to really get around that is to buy some of the smaller Milwaukee, so super compact stuff. This is just a bit bigger than that, but it's a lot cheaper as well. It's probably half the price. I would definitely recommend it. I think that if you're looking for something, especially if you've already got DeWalt batteries and chargers, it's well worth a look. But I think like with all cordless tools, that's probably going to be your deciding factor. If you've already bought into a battery system for Milwaukee, then you'll buy Milwaukee, just like any other brand. But if you've already got the batteries and chargers, which I did, then yeah, I don't think you can go far wrong with this. And in fact, the only upgrade I'd really want from here would be a smaller one if they do one, and that would maybe be the only thing that would make me buy another brand, is if I could get a really compact one. But all in all, pretty impressive. And the way it shifted that crank pulley bolt, which I'm gutted I didn't manage to film, but the way it shifted that crank pulley bolt was second to none. So there you go, the DeWalt DCF880. Definitely recommend it. This wasn't a sponsored video. I bought this with my own money, obviously. The channel's nowhere near big enough for anybody to want to pay me to do anything. But even if it was, then I'd certainly be upfront about whether that was the case. But no, I bought this specifically to do these jobs, and it performed admirably. If you're looking for a sort of budget-ish impact wrench, especially if you've already got the batteries, I would definitely give this a go. Thank you very much for watching. Please let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this type of material. I know it's not the best because some of the sort of in-action footage is a bit limited. I find it hard to film some of the stuff if I'm getting right into the suspension or whatever. It's quite difficult to be filming at the same time, without getting the camera dirty and stuff. But if you like this and you want to see more of this kind of stuff, please let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.